Hi, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the channel of ChatAction. Strange name, eh? When you think about it, chat, action, kind of an oxymoron. But that's actually how we came about. We began the journey with Jim Garrison back in May of 2020 when COVID-19 rocked our world, and we realized there is this incredible programming going on every day for 90 minutes where we're getting introduced to the leading edge in economics and politics and climate change and consciousness raising. You name it, every slice of life, we got to listen into the leading thinkers around the world. So you can imagine then when it happened that all of the chat that's going on during those incredible presentations start getting like really rambunctious. And Stan Pokras, our chief instigator, said, these people like to chat. Maybe they'd like to see each other. And so Stan invited us back to his room, his bedroom, where he's been ever since we began on day 60, where we are now coming into 200 days of humanity rising. So the chat group began and got known as the Chat People, and people would come and chat after each Humanity Rising session. Then we decided, well, chatting is nice, but isn't there something more that we can do? What's in common about us? And we realized that all of us were activists, finding our way in 2020 to what we would be when we grew up, when the pandemic was over, when we could go out into our lives. And we realized we couldn't wait for that. We had to start now. So we said, let's form a group of the Chat People that would be dedicated to action. And so 60 plus folks decided that they would join the Chat Action group and dedicate themselves to doing something about all this great content. You see, we're not void of solutions. We have millions of solutions about how this world needs to be a better place for all of us. But solutions are one thing, delivering on them is another. And as we started to really push the envelope about how do we want to show up in this world, we realized that we had one overarching goal, and that was a world that is about peace, peace in everything we do in peace. And we decided, okay, so everybody's doing peace. I mean, let's look at all the organizations around the world. Why would we all of a sudden decide that we were going to look at peace? And the answer was really quite simple, because it doesn't exist everywhere. Yes, if you have your glasses on and you've got your non-dual view and you're up in your other cloud of enlightenment, it is a very peaceful world, and peace is everywhere. And then we come down into this day-to-day life that we live, and we realize that conflict is real, that systemic racism is real, that economic disparity is real, that the way in which climate is just beating us to the pulp in terms of our solutions not being delivered on. That's real. So if we had all of these solutions, why aren't we doing them? And what is it about peace that we're not able to understand? Because if we did, we would. And that became the birthplace of the Peace Lab. The Peace Lab is an experiment in peace. We don't know what the answer to that question is. The question being, what is the mystery of peace? That should we find it and embody it, our journey to it would be that much easier, that much faster. That's what our quest was about. And so the Peace Lab was born. And it came from the insight of a wonderful man named Kurt Kruger, who initially identified the idea of, well, if we have a department of the military, why don't we have the Department of Peace? And we all know that Barbara Marx Hubbard is amazing in how she created her 12 dimensions. And Miriam Williamson has talked passionately about a Department of Peace. But why would we create something to counter something? Isn't it time for us to look at it differently? Isn't it time to figure out what is it that we can do that is different, that allows us to play with the notion and then do something significant? So welcome to the Peace Lab. Welcome to Chat Action. Welcome to making a difference.